Hello, I'm Natasha Gutierrez. Welcome to Rappler, your social news network. This is Talk Thursday. Palarong Pambansa, the nation's largest sporting event that gathers the best elementary and high school students, begins on Sunday, May 6. The Department of Education is spending 136 million pesos on the games. But why does it even matter? With me today is the Assistant Secretary of the Department of Education and the Secretary General of Palarong Pambansa, Tonesito Omale, to answer questions about the games. Tweet us your questions at Rappler.com and use the hashtag TalkThursday. Hello, welcome to Rappler.
Hi, Natasha. Good afternoon to all our viewers in the internet.
Yeah, it's great to have you here, Tony.
Yes.
First of all, explain to us what Palarong Pambansa is.
The Palarong Pambansa is a school sports program. It's an annual program conducted by the Department of Education where all elementary and secondary or high school students compete from public and private schools. It starts with the school division or school meets and then goes up with the district or division level meets. Schools compete with each other. Whoever wins, will vie for the district championship or division championship, then goes up to the city or provincial level, then to the regional level, and then all the champions and the regional level are gathered and compete for the National Palarong Pambansa, which will be held in Lingayen, May 6 to May 12.
So by the time the students make it to the nationals, it can be assured that they're very talented and they've actually gone through rigorous competitions.
Yes, you could say that. Yes.
And this competition happens every year. And how old is it?
It's like it was born in 1948. Started as what we call BPCAA, Bureau of Public Secondary Schools Interscholastic Athletic Association. And sometime in 1976, it was called, during the time of martial law, Palarong Pambansa. Since then, we are proud that we have produced Palaro greats like Lydia De Vega, Elma Muros, Isidro Del Prado. You have interviewed Miss Susan Papa. They are some of the products of Palaro who made it well in international competition.
And how many events does Palaro have this year, for instance?
Yes, 17 events in the high school, 16 events in the elementary.
And how many regions are involved?
17 regions,
And
all 17 regions.
We are expecting
Like 10,000 athletes, coaches, chaperones, technical officials to be in Lingayen this May 6. On the average, there are around 400 to 600 delegates per region, but including all the technical officials, around 10,000.
It sounds like a very difficult task to organize.
Yes.
What are the biggest challenges for the department when organizing the games?
Well, the biggest challenge is funds. We would like to admit that DepEd cannot do Palaro alone. The reason why Palaro is very successful is that we have partnership with all our local government units. So what usually happens here is that the host province, in case of a provincial meet, or the host region, the LGUs pool their resources. They substantially donate money, especially if you are the host region. They have to take care of their facilities. DepEd will take care of its students. We will provide them, some assistance for their transportation, for their uniform. But overall, I would say it's still the funds. But we've been doing this, just like I told you, when they called this Palarong Pambansa since 1976, and we're very, very still successful. It's because Palarong Pambansa is a very, very good opportunity, not only for DepEd, but for the LGUs to rally their people behind a common event. This is the time, whether it is provincial meet, regional meet, and now national Palaro, where you could say literally the activities of a province stop, and they will just gather around and root for their favorite teams, and that's very good. That's very good for the LGs and for DepEd too.
And how does the department go about choosing which province to host the games?
Okay, readiness of the facilities, Historically, if they have sponsored similar events that will make them competent to hold events. Readiness also of the schools, because we billet all our students in our schools. That's where they stay during the week-long meet. We are also looking at the readiness of the technical officials, if there are enough teachers or DepEd or non-DepEd personnel who could manage the games and officiate the games, if you may. Those are some of the, and of course, the cooperation of the LGU. What are the contributions that they willing to give to our students to do the Palaro?
Is it a competitive process? Do you usually get a lot of provinces at a time
Definitely.
bidding for the games?
Yes, definitely. Especially for the national Palaro. For example, for this year's 2012 Palaro, initially there were 7 provinces in Luzon which manifested their interest to host the national Palaro, and it went down to 5. And the top 3 or 4 competing provinces, they were all equal. You know, we have a very objective scoring system. You know, thanks to Brother Armin Luistro. I don't want to say that before they're not objective, but this is the first time that we have a specific point system. This much point goes to if you're ready with your facilities, if you're ready with your schools, if you're ready with your officiating officials. It's very objective. And Pangasinan, Edge, I would say Marikina and Laguna.
Okay.
They were close second.
So why Pangasinan, and what can we expect from Pangasinan this year?
Well, Pangasinan primarily because they have hosted Palaro in the past, sometime in, I believe, in 1994 or 1995. So more or less, we could say that Pangasinan is definitely ready. Marikina has not hosted it. They were very good. You know, I thought they would have gotten it, including Laguna, but Pangasinan, I would say, is more ready to host Palaro. The facilities in the Narciso Ramos Civic Center and Sports Complex, for example, are very, very good. I would say they are of they're international standards, you know, compliant with what we need, you know, the pool size, everything. Basketball courts, you know, name it, they have it, you know. Pangasinan is that definitely deserves to win.
Rapa had actually visited the sites and we were very impressed. You know, it looks great. What else can we expect from the games this year? What is different?
Well, we started having girls basketball last year, and it has proven to be an attraction in last year's Palaro. We are very excited because right now the other regions are I believe are strengthening their delegations. The athletes that they're sending are very good right now. So while, you know, NCR is the traditional champion both in the elementary and high school, I believe Region 6 and Region 4A, they became champions in the basketball division.
Great.
Yes, secondary. Usually it's always NCR, you know, but Region 4A, Calabarzon, they were the champions last year. Of course, Region 7 and Region 10. They're all improving. That's what's nice with Palaro.
That's exciting. It's very exciting. And also, I understand that Department of Education has a new initiative this year, the Clean and Green Palaro. Can you explain a little about that?
Yeah, that's correct. Brother Armin Luistro keeps on saying to our students, to our athletes, that Palaro is not always about winning goals. It's also about discipline. Discipline should mean being clean in your billeting quarters. You know, Brother Armin Luistro implemented a system where there is like a room captain in the billeting quarters, and in the bus where they stay. Brother Armin wants to to minimize the incidence of lost items, etc., of athletes leaving their quarters untidy. So we implemented this clean and green. This is the first time last year, and we are going to do it this year. That Palaro, you could just imagine, like more or less 10,000 people using plastic cups, styrofoam, the garbage that it will generate. But last year and this year, expect zero waste in terms of those kind of materials, and we have done that. And it's very nice. I was going around last year in schools, and I saw how disciplined our athletes are, and I'm really proud of our
Right.
athletes. That they're not only that's the point of Brother Army, that they are not only good in the court, but they are also good outside the court.
That's great. So it's values formation as well for the athletes.
Yes, and that's also one of the main objectives of Palaro, to imbibe or discipline, teamwork, excellence, fair play, sportsmanship, all those qualities that are inherent in sports competition. We want our students to instill it, to practice it in their lives.
And the Department of Education, as I understand, is also, you guys have implemented a more strict screening process for the athletes, I guess, in line with these goals. Is that correct?
Yes. Brother Armin has this directive to us that people who or students who cannot compete fairly has no room, has no place in Palaro. So he wants zero tolerance for cheating, and that's why we're very strict with that. Implementing Brother Armin's directive, we have a screening committee headed by an attorney. His name is Attorney Pakala. He's very good. He has headed the screening committee in the past, and we have employed means to ensure not only using the traditional means of ascertaining whether a student is qualified or not. For example, when we talk about age, for elementary, they should be born in 1999 or earlier, meaning if they're born in 2000, they're qualified. If they're born in 99, they're not qualified. In case of high school, 1995. Now, before we just accept documents, NSO certified birth certificate, baptismal certificates, school records. Now we are not contented with that. We also employ science to make sure that the student is really qualified age-wise. What am I trying to say, Natasha? For example, we have top-notch dentists in our screening committee who said that, for example, if a child has a full-grown third molar, that is very technical, that child must be at least 15 years of age. Okay, and if they're saying that they are qualified to compete in the elementary, no, they can't. And we have, sad to say, incidents like that where their paperwork are very okay. It says that the child is like 11 years old, but when inspected by our dentist, they're not. They should be at least like 14 years old, and they're disqualified.
So in the past, this has happened.
Yes, but it's like less than, I would say only three incidents last year.
So why do you think, one, do these athletes cheat their age to participate? Does this have anything to do with the initiatives? What rewards do these athletes get when they win? Why do that?
I really don't have I wish I have an answer for that, because there's no reason to cheat. You can never justify cheating. I just would like to think that maybe, just maybe, I hope our school officials are not conniving with anybody. Maybe they just would like to bring the gold for their schools, but what kind of achievement is that if you the values you're trying to share with your students, if you're getting it through cheating? Right now, where you talk about the incentives, hopefully by next year we're going to have more incentives for our gold medalists or gold winners. Right now we're coordinating with private companies. Maybe they could sponsor or give some scholarships to our champions, and we're trying to do that. That is not done in the past, Palaro. We don't have you last year, but now we have you, and we're very happy. We're very happy that we're working with Rappler. and we're very excited. And this will be a very exciting Palaro. Lots of new things happening.
Rappler is the official online partner of
Yes.
the Department
Yes.
of Education for Palarong Pambansa this year. In a sense, would you say interest in the games has waned a little bit ever? Because before, we saw the games were televised.
Yes, yes. In a government TV station before, it is televised and it's covered. I believe all the games are covered during the 5 or 7 days of Palaro, National Palaro. Now we don't have that, but at least we have Rappler.com. We're very happy.
What do you think triggered that change?
Well, maybe because right now we only now cater to elementary and secondary. Before up to tertiary level, we compete in the Palarong Pambansa. Now tertiary levels with CHED. Maybe that's one reason. Maybe people think that it's more exciting to watch college students competing. NCAA, UAP they're more popular. I guess they have TV coverage, but right now we're ready to win back the prestige and the interest of our countrymen in the national Palaro, because we have very exciting. It's very important to point out that these are the years where you should be looking at our students. These formative years. If we can see a gymnast or somebody who's very fast in running, you should develop them at this age. And that's the reason why every year's Palaro, you could see coaches from our top universities going around talking to our students, and they're giving them scholarships. There's one incentive for our Palaro to play for them when they reach college. And it's a common scene in Palaro right now. They call it, I believe, agents, or scout agents.
Scouting, right?
Yeah.
And for the winners, they also they have the opportunity to train with national sports associations.
Yes, we're trying. Right now, we're trying to perfect that, because I would like to admit that before we don't have that kind of degree of cooperation or coordination that I think is necessary with our Philippine Sports Commission, the Philippine Olympic Committee, and the National Sports Associations. And right now, DepEd is doing that. I think it's very important that we have to tap them, especially in the technical aspect. We would like to make sure that when we do our games, it should conform with the international standards. The equipment that we should use, the rules that we should implement should comply with the Olympic standards. That's what we're doing right now.
And for those who are not very informed about Palarong Pambansa, can you tell us some of the world-class athletes that the games have bred? I think what a lot of people need to understand is this is the starting point for a lot of the athletes in the country. This is where they get discovered. This is where they realize that they could be world-class talent.
Yes. Aside from Miss Elma Muros, Lydia De Vega, Renato Del Prado that I mentioned a while ago, Renato Unso, Maristela Torres, Reno Boy Herrera, Edna Pinelas in athletics, basketball, PBA players Marlo Aquino, Danny Ildefonso, maybe some of them are too young to remember, Mr. Samboy Lim, Miss Susan Papa. Enchong D is also a Palaro, person, product. In chess, we have Wesley So, Nelson Mariano, Mark Paragua, and the list goes on. Yeah.
And how often do you produce these athletes? I mean, I guess it's hard to quantify, right? But for instance, how often is it that someone not from NCR, for instance, surprises you, someone no one had known of, suddenly takes the spotlight and then develops into...
Oh, it always happens, just like what I told you. For example, in last year's Palaro, the champion in basketball is Calabarzon. And most of them are now, as we speak, scholars of these top universities. They're if you want to say they're from the province. And the runner-up in basketball last year, I believe it's not Region 10, it's Region 11. It's not even NCR. So they're all from the provinces, and we're very happy. Things like this happening, we give more opportunities to our students They're very excited. Palaro. Even during the school meets, even it's not about just winning. We just like our people. I mean, our students looking forward to Palarong. They want to do good in their school level competition, in the district level, because they're looking to Palarong, and that's very good. That's very good.
Okay. And Tony, you're also officer in charge of after-school sports programs of
Yes.
the Department of Education. What are your goals for the Filipino youth athletes?
Yes. Brother Armin is talking about when he talks about after-school sports. He would like our students to engage in sports. Now, not only because it's part of their PE, but because they want to engage in sports. That's why we want to focus on after-school sports program. Brother Armin is talking to the Philippine Sports Commission. We are looking at the Cebu model. They have their own Philippine Sports Commission where you could see all students, or whether they're out of school youth or in school, going to their gyms playing. We would like to study how they're doing that. But right now, Brother Armin is also pushing for sports academies, one each in all regions. But right now, since we don't have the law yet creating the sports academy, we have what you call a regional school for sports. Brother Armin is implementing that right now, where that school, students in that school have, because usually our athletes are not given special consideration. Even if you're good, you should do good in your academics. But in this regional school for sports, if they're athletes, they have more hours for PE and sports. And we are kind of flexible, but they still have to pass their academic subjects. But we're kind of flexible with our athletes, and they have special additional funds being received from DepEd, and we're focusing on the facilities of this school. So that's how dedicated Brother is when it comes to sports. And I would like to add, in the K-12 program that Brother Armin is pushing for, sports and arts is one of the track that students can take. What am I trying to say? We were going to have a senior high school. You heard about K-12, kindergarten, 6 years of elementary education, 4 years of junior high school, 2 years of senior high school. The different tracks are academic. If they want to be accountants or lawyers, they may have more bookkeeping subjects. Tech Voc, if they want to be welders, there will be more subjects in welding. If they want to do in sports, it's one track. We have more subjects in sports. That's how committed
Great.
Brother is.
Okay, great. And now let's take questions from social
Sure.
media. We have one question from NorReg06, and he is asking, I'm just wondering if they ever thought that the games is becoming a big obstruction to the students' education.
We view sports as an activity where we try to achieve the total development of our students, not only academically but physically. And they always say that if a person is physically developed, you will be thinking very well. We would like to think that like that. And anyway, Palarong Pambansa is only once a year event. It's not it's not like it's happening every month. There are only a portion of the student population, theoretically, who are being affected. And I would like to add that there's one important criterion for an athlete, for a student to be an athlete in Palarong, is that they should have passed their subjects. If they're failing in their academic subjects, they cannot be an athlete. That's what I want to say.
It's a requirement.
Yes. So
Oh,
definitely, if an athlete would like to join Palarong, he or she now has the motivation to do good in his or her academic subjects, because otherwise he or she cannot join Palarong. And in that sense, I would like to assure the person who asked that question that it doesn't interfere in that sense with our children's studies.
Okay, and we have one more question from social media. We actually have a lot, but we're running out of time, so let's choose one. When is the exact time and date of the opening? When are we going to see it live on the main stream?
Yes. Supposed to be the opening ceremonies will be on May 6th, and that's this Sunday. But we're going to have games on May 6th in the morning, starting at 7, and formal opening ceremonies will be held on May 7, Monday, because that's the availability of the president. And we're very happy to show the commitment of this government to sports. Our president, Noynoy Aquino, will be our guest of honor in this year's Palarong, though he will be arriving on May 7.
Okay, and just to answer the question if it's going to be seen live, Rappler.com is working on actually live streaming.
Yes. And that should answer your question or the point that you have raised ago, that before we have live coverage. Now we still have live coverage with our partner Rappler.com, and we're very happy to have you as our partner.
Okay, and we'll take one last question from Julianne Hoven. Would you say that the different regions of the Philippines are on their way to achieving almost equal sports capabilities?
Slowly, we are achieving that status, but right now, I could still see that based on the number of athletes that they're sending, there just like what I told you, there are like 17 sport events in high school and 16 in the elementary. I could see that there are some regions, I don't want to mention them, that they cannot send delegates in some events because they say that they don't have good athletes to compete, and that's okay. That's okay. You know, that's the reality in life. You know, even the Philippines, cannot compete in all the events, and we don't send a complete delegation, and that's a good strategy. Just focus on the events which you think you can win a medal.
And of course, the ultimate goal is to become competitive globally.
Yes, and that's the reason why that just like what I told you before, Natasha, that our rules, the playing venues, the equipment that we are used are of international or Olympic standards. They should comply with the standards being required in the Olympics.
Okay,
and that's what we're doing.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Tony, for coming and joining us today at Talk Thursday.
The honor is mine, Natasha, and thank you very much to Rappler.com.
Thank you. And Rappler will be covering Palarong Pambansa. We also have a microsite. There is an icon on the top right of the Rappler front page, of the homepage, wherein you could click it and it goes straight to a Palarong Pambansa coverage of the entire week-long games. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is Natasha Gutierrez, and thank you for joining us on Talk Thursday.